Job interviews are nerve-wracking occasions. You are being judged on your ability to answer questions convincingly and clearly, as well as listen and process information. While you can predict how the interview will pan out, you can stay prepared by thinking about your responses and the overall impression you want to make, which will give you the best shot at landing that job. Confirm your interview ahead of time. Once you know that you are interviewing for a job, you should quickly confirm your attendance. Double-check the time and place of the interview, and express how thankful you are for the opportunity. If you have received a letter or email asking you to interview, look for instructions on confirming your attendance, as well as any contact details for your interviewer. Try to do this the day before, so you can be sure that everything in order. You can do this via email, but it can be nice to call so you can have a brief chat and ask any immediate questions you might have. If you need any accommodations, such as disabled access, you should let them know as soon as possible. This call or email will likely be to somebody who works in human resources or recruitment. Research the company before attending your interview. Take some time to review the history and background of the organization you are interviewing for. This is vital for a number of reasons, especially for conveying your enthusiasm and initiative to the interviewers. The level of research that is possible will vary massively depending on the company and the position you are applying for, but there are some common areas to research before the interview. Figure out if the business is in the private or public sector, or somewhere in between. Try to get an idea of the company values and overall mission, as well as their usual client base. Check the news to see if the company has done anything noteworthy lately. Review the format of the interview before you arrive. Wait for specific instructions from the interviewer about how the actual interview will go down. Some businesses may have a straight question and answer process, while other companies may expect you to give a presentation. Feel free to ask any questions ahead of time, so you can prepare and adjust for your interview as needed. Double-check all the details of your interview ahead of time. If you are presenting something, confirm how long your presentation needs to be, along with any other elements of the interview. If you need any IT, such as a laptop and projector with PowerPoint, communicate this to the organization as soon as possible so they can be prepared. Read through the job description again. Look over the job listing so you can refresh yourself on the particulars of the position. Rereading this section can give you a good idea of what the interviewers may ask you in the interview. For instance, if the job asks for 5 years of experience, the interviewer may ask you to describe some of that experience. Practice answering potential interview questions. Note that every interview will be different, and that it's impossible to entirely predict what questions you will be asked. Brainstorm some sample questions that could come up in the interview, as well as how you plan on answering them. 8. Additionally, brainstorm some anecdotes you can share at the interview that really showcase your past experience and knowledge. For example, if your interviewer asks you why you want the job, you can say something like, "I want to be a public relations coordinator so I can make a positive difference in the world around me." If you are asked about your strengths and weaknesses, you can say something like, "I'm great at staying focused and prioritizing tasks. Unfortunately, I'm such a perfectionist that I can get caught up in the details instead of the big picture sometimes." Ask a friend or family member to help you conduct a practice interview as you get ready. This can help you improve your on-the-spot thinking skills, and also help you prepare possible answers ahead of time. Dress to impress your potential employer. Pick out a sleek, professional outfit that fits you well, like a dress shirt and blazer, or a blouse with a pencil skirt. Finish off your outfit with a polished pair of shoes, so you look as professional as possible. For instance, a dress shirt with matching slacks and a nice coat is a great outfit to consider. A pantsuit or skirted suit are other good options to consider for your interview. You should dress professionally for any interview, even if it's a virtual one. This lets your potential employer know that you really take the job seriously. Provide a professional email address to potential employers. Give your potential employer a professional email address, like a combination of your first and last name. If you have to sign up for a conferencing service, choose a simple and professional username that clearly states who you are. Try not to use hobbies or other nonsense words in your usernames, or else the interviewer might not take you as seriously. For instance, jamebrown@gmail.com is a much better email to use than janellovespaloutboy@hellokitti.com. Proofread your resume and cover letter ahead of time. Check that your biggest accomplishments are clearly listed, so your potential employer can get a clear understanding of your capabilities. Additionally, double-check for any grammar or spelling errors, just to be safe. Bring copies of your resume, cover letter, and any other important documents. Ask your interviewer if you need to bring any documents aside from your resume and cover letter. Depending on the job, they may want you to bring in certificates or other documentation that they can scan or photocopy. You may need some form of official ID, a reference sheet, recommendation letters, a fact sheet, and a portfolio of your past work. Always bring a pen and some scrap paper in case you have to write anything down. Arrive 15-20 minutes early to your interview. If you arrive late to an interview, you will look like you aren't committed or invested in the job. You may also look disorganized, and like you don't have a lot of initiative. Traffic delays are common, so give yourself plenty of time to get there. Be courteous to the office staff when you arrive. It's important to make good first impressions with everyone you meet, not just the people conducting the interview. Test out your technology the night before to make sure everything working. Boot up your computer, laptop, tablet, or whatever piece of tech you are using to attend your interview. Double check that you have a secure, stable internet connection, and that your conferencing program works correctly. As an extra precaution, conduct a test call to make sure your microphone and video camera work. Ask a friend or family member if they'd be willing to call you on the designated video platform so you can make sure everything works. Sit in a private, quiet area during your virtual interview. Find a low-traffic area of your home where you aren't likely to be disturbed. Check that the space has good internet connection, and that there isn't a lot of background noise that can leak over into the call. You can make yourself look extra professional by setting up a nice backdrop behind your seat, like a white sheet. For instance, a home office or well-lit portion of your basement are both possible options for your interview. Avoid sitting in a cluttered area, as this might make you look unprofessional. Ask your roommates or family not to disturb you during the interview. Let the people you live with know when your interview is happening and where your base of operations will be. Politely ask if they can stay in another part of the home during the interview, or if they can leave for an hour so you aren't disturbed. For instance, you can say something like, "Hey, my interview is tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll be doing the interview in my bedroom. So would you be okay with hanging downstairs until I'm done?" Maintain polite and professional body language throughout the interview. Sit up with your back and shoulders straightened. Plaster on a professional smile throughout your interview, and do your best to make firm eye contact with your webcam. Since you can shake hands or sit with the interviewer in person, you want to look and act as professional as possible. Listen to the interviewer to show that you are attentive. The interview is a conversation, not just you giving a monologue. Focus on listening intently so your interviewer knows that you are a team player. Remember, part of communicating well is listening well. Listening well will also help to get a good picture of the culture of the place you are interviewing for. Repeating what the interviewer says in different words can make you look really attentive. For instance, if the interviewer mentions that the company has a positive work environment, you can say something like, "It sounds like everyone in the office really cares about one another." Answer the questions you are asked honestly. Try to answer each question as directly as possible. If you are being asked if you have a particular skill or experience, provide some clear evidence of this with an example. Use each question as an opportunity to showcase your skills, talents, and experience to the interviewer. For example, if you are asked about your organizational skills, you might say that you are highly organized, but follow this up by describing an event you organized in the past. If you are asked about meeting deadlines, you could reference college or school assignments that you always turned in on time. If you are asked about the ability to handle competing priorities, you can talk about juggling work and study. If you can use evidence from outside work and education, you will also present a more rounded picture of yourself and your outside interests. Strike a professional and confident tone in your interview. Be professional, but relaxed and confident throughout the interview. If you pay close attention to the interviewers, you may notice the style and tone they use, and you can try to adapt to that and show that you can work well in such an environment. Tell a story of your progression and development. Mention your past accomplishments, as well as the road you traveled to get to where you are today. Describe where you started out and how you got experience, so the interviewer gets a full sense of your professional identity. Don't get carried away. A little personal information can go a long way. Avoid using negative language. Keep your language positive and optimistic, even if you don't completely understand or know the answer to a question. Express that you are willing to learn, and that you are a team player. Instead of just saying no, change the emphasis to a positive by highlighting other things you have done which are relevant, while indicating that you are keen to develop in this area. For example, if you are asked if you have ever organized an event at work, don't say no, never. Instead, say something like, I have not been the lead in organizing events, but I have been part of a team who did this and learned a lot from it. You could also give an example of something you have organized outside of work, like a sports tournament or charity event. Be positive, and show how you want to develop your skills and experience. Avoid using negative language. Ask questions so you sound engaged. Brainstorm questions about the company and potential position throughout the interview. Let the interviewer know that you not only been listening to them, but that you engaged enough to ask and find out more. 29. You should ask questions both about the employer and about the job. Ask about different training and career development opportunities, or what your interviewer likes and dislikes about the job. Send a thank you note to the interviewer. You can do this with a handwritten note, or by email, but you should do it within the first 24 hours after the interview. In this note, thank them for the opportunity to interview. Additionally, include some further information about you that follows up in something touched upon in the interview. You can follow a basic template of thanking the interviewer and briefly reiterating why you should be selected for the job. Then finish by saying that you are looking forward to the next step. You can include additional information and follow up on something specific, but try to make it sound as natural and unforced as possible. Contact the interviewer if you don't hear back right away. If you were told you would hear on Monday morning and you haven't heard a few days later, it's okay for you to contact the employer and politely ask if a decision has been made yet. A brief phone call or email to HR should suffice. The key thing to remember is to be positive and don't sound impatient or annoyed. Say something like, "It was great to meet you. I enjoyed talking to you and I was just wondering where you are in the decision process." Prepare yourself for the best and worst possible scenarios. Keep in mind that some recruitment procedures include more than one round of interviews. If this is the case with the position you have applied for, stay sharp in case you are called back for a second interview. 35. Don't be discouraged if you end up getting passed over for the job. This is completely normal, and has happened to countless people during the interview process. Instead, put your best foot forward and continue looking for new job openings. At the second interview you will want to be even better than at the first, so make sure you prepare thoroughly and have information about the company and the industry that you can talk about to demonstrate your knowledge. If you don't get the job, you can ask your interviewer for feedback or ways you can improve for future interviews.